Hey guys, today we are doing reproduction. If you have a parent around, like your mom or dad, leave the room. Leave the room immediately because we're going to start with male reproduction. Okay? And you guys, you have to learn all the parts of the male reproductive system. And so, if your parents are there, you might want to leave. We're going to start with the structure in the male reproductive system, and this is called the testes, okay? The testes, men have two testes, and within the testes are these coiled tubes called seminiferous tubules. And these seminiferous tubules, these guys make sperm, okay? Now, in between the seminiferous tubules, right, in between the seminiferous tubules, so these little dots here, these are called interstitial cells. These interstitial cells make testosterone. Okay, so that means there's two things happening in the male testes. He's either going to make sperm or he's going to make testosterone. So if you were to castrate a guy, which means you cut the testes off, he no longer can make sperm and he can no longer make testosterone. Okay, now the thing is this structure here is found right next to the testes, and this is called the epididymis. And the epididymis is when the sperm mature. Basically, they have a tail, but they learn how to swim here. So they learn how to swim in the epididymis. Okay? And then, what you guys have to realize is, like, the guy wants the sperm to come out. And so it comes out through a tube. And the tube that it comes out is called the Vas Deferens. Okay, so this Vas Deferens is like this long coiled winding tube, right? And so basically when a man is ready to ejaculate, and ejaculate means to release sperm, the testes contract, which means they squeeze, and then all the sperm here squeeze, and then they start traveling up the Vas Deferens. Okay, that's where they're going. And they're gonna head down this like pathway. Hold on, just gonna show you guys in different colors. So here's the Vas Deferens, and the Vas Deferens becomes the urethra. Now, why does the Vas Deferens, why do we like distinguish between the Vas Deferens and the urethra? Is because you guys have to imagine, like, right here behind, this is the urinary bladder, and this is where we store urine. So we store urine in the urinary bladder, and then the urine comes out of the urethra. But not only does the urine come out of the urethra, the sperm also come out of the urethra, right? Because eventually the urethra connects to the penis. So here, this is the penis. And you can imagine, like, it's traveling out, and then the tip of the penis is called the glans penis. And you know what? I can't even, there's not enough room to show you all of it, but that's basically, the penis in a male is responsible for both the exit of the urine and the sperm. But you can't urinate and ejaculate at the same time. So when you ejaculate, you shut off your urinary bladder, and when you urinate, you turn on the urinary, like and you shut off like the Vas Deferens, right? You can't do both at the same time. Now, you now know, like, how sperm is made, and it travels to the Vas Deferens, and sometimes guys will get like a vasectomy where you cut through the Vas Deferens. And if you cut through the Vas Deferens, well, that means there's no pathway for sperm to travel. And so that's an effective way to birth control, right? You're still going to urinate because the urine is going to come out, right? That's the urine coming out like that through the urinary bladder, through the urethra, but you're not going to ejaculate sperm anymore. Now, the thing is like sperm, as they make their way through the Vas Deferens and then through the urethra and out of the penis, you got to add fluid to it. Like, so there are things that you guys, there's this structure called the seminiferous tubule. You can see the seminiferous tubule is connected to the urethra, so it's connected to the urethra. And this seminiferous tubule makes fructose. And that fructose is going to be given to the sperm, right? Because if the sperm enter the vagina, they need to eat something. because they gotta live to fertilize the egg, right? Fertilize means they gotta connect with the egg. They gotta meet with the egg. And so you need food. You need fructose, right? So fructose, right, is food for the sperm as they make their journey up the vagina. Also, this seminiferous tubule makes a basic solution. And this basic solution it makes is because the woman's vagina is actually acidic. So you want to release a basic solution to sort of minimize the harm to the sperm, right? Because if you were to just ejaculate the sperm and you didn't have any sort of basic fluid, the acidic environment of the woman's vagina would kill all sperm, okay? So basically the seminiferous tubule is releasing liquid that ensure the sperm survival. Okay, so you have two things going on here. You have sperm and you have liquid, right? And the seminiferous tubule is not the only, it's not the only thing that contributes. There's a prostate, so I'm going to draw it in blue. Here's the prostate gland. And this also contains alkaline fluid. So this also contains basic fluid to help neutralize the acidity of the female's vagina. So basically the sperm travel up the vas deferens, okay? Up the vas deferens, and then the seminiferous tubule deposit its contents, and the prostate gland also deposits its contents. So now you have sperm traveling with, you know, that basic solution. You have sperm now traveling with fructose. And so basically it's sperm plus that fluid from the seminiferous tubule and the fluid from the prostate gland. That's going to make up what we call semen. Okay? Now there's another gland that is found, and it's like right around here, and that's called Cooper's gland. And this Cooper's gland that you find here is responsible for clearing out the urethra prior to ejaculation. So basically, it's part of the semen. Okay, it's part of the semen, the Cooper's gland secretion, because it's not part of sperm, it's fluid. And basically, if a guy urinates, right? If he urinates, you want to clear out the urethra, and you want to make sure there's no urine in the urethra, because if there's urine in the urethra, then the sperm will die. So you want to have this Cooper's gland, and this Cooper's gland releases like this kind of mucus-like solution, and it's clearing out the urethra. It's clearing out any urine in the urethra to make way for this sperm. Okay? And so basically that's the structures of the male reproductive system. Okay? Now you guys also need to know, and that's all I'm going to just kind of go over. You know what? You can also take a look at Dr. Taylor's PowerPoints just in case she goes into more detail than I do. I'm just sort of giving you the bare bones of what I would know for male anatomy, and then like for female anatomy. You guys, female anatomy is a little different than male anatomy. So female anatomy, instead of 2 testes, she has 2 ovaries. So this is an ovary, this is an ovary. And just like the testes was responsible for making sperm, the ovary is responsible for making eggs. Okay, it's responsible for making the egg, and it's responsible for hormone production. So basically, it's responsible for progesterone and estrogen production. So like when we talked about the testes here, and I said the testes was responsible for sperm from the seminiferous tubule and testosterone from the interstitial cells. In the female reproductive system, the ovary is responsible for making the egg, and it's responsible for the release of the hormones. So you can see like these two kind of have similar functions, right? The ovary, egg, testes, sperm, the ovary, hormone, progesterone, estrogen, testes, testosterone. Okay, so now, so females have 2 ovaries, right? And each ovary makes like the egg. A woman actually releases 1 egg per month, so one ovary will release 1 egg 1 month, the other ovary will release the other egg the other month. And basically these finger-like projections are called fimbriae, and they catch the egg. Because basically she has to release the egg once a month, so, and the fimbriae catches it, and it's going to travel down this tube called the oviduct. And the oviduct is kind of like the vas deferens. So like as this, you know, when the sperm travel through the vas deferens, the egg travels through the oviduct, okay? And this here is the woman's uterus. Now this is where the baby grows, is in the uterus. And it can grow there because the uterus has like this kind of like thick, bloody lining. And that bloody lining is called the endometrium. And basically, like if the sperm actually fertilizes the egg, you're gonna create a baby. And the baby needs a home, right? It needs to live. And what better home than like blood vessels that the baby can bury itself into? And in the blood is all the nutrients the baby needs to survive, all the hormones, everything that the baby needs is in that endometrium, right? And then this is the vagina. And right here is the cervix. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this in a second, but I just want you guys to remember when the guy ejaculates the sperm, he's ejaculating it into her vagina. And the vagina is sort of like it's also called the birth canal. It's made up of muscles. It's also like flexible, right? So it can actually expand and contract. And it releases like mucus, like constantly. It releases it, it cleans itself out. And this is acidic, right? So the woman's pH is acidic. It's around a pH of around 6. And basically the male is trying to neutralize it when he releases his semen, right? So here's the sperm that's being released. Remember, it's always sperm plus fluid. Travels up the vagina, which is this like muscular birth canal, right? And it's also like the entry, where the receptacle where the penis is received. And this is the cervix, and the cervix is a muscular band. And in the cervix is like this mucus plug. And it makes sperm really hard. It's hard for sperm to go past that mucus plug, really hard for it. But once a month when the woman ovulates, so the woman, when we talk about ovulation, we're talking about her releasing an egg. So she releases the egg once a month. And so when she releases the egg once a month, this mucus that's in the cervix sort of softens to let the sperm pass, okay? Just for your information, men produce sperm 24/7, like all the time. They're all about the quantity of sperm, like, and sometimes the quality is not that great of sperm because they're just making so many so fast. They ejaculate like 350 million sperm every time they ejaculate, tons and tons. Whereas a woman is more about the quality of the egg, like she nurtures that egg. It's 1 egg a month that she releases, and it's like basically you're flooded with 350 million sperm that are all trying to fertilize this egg, and there's only this very narrow window where once a month she releases the egg. And yeah, if you're outside that window, the egg cannot be fertilized. So it goes through the cervix, it goes through the uterus. The uterus has this inner layer, the bloody layer called the endometrium. And then it has a muscular layer called the myometrium. So that is the myometrium, and that's a muscular layer found in the uterus. And basically that's all the parts to the female that you got to know, right? Sometimes women will get the same procedure where they cut their tubes. And that's called tubal ligation. So that's like kind of the same thing as a vasectomy was when you cut it. And what that does is it prevents the egg from going to the uterus, like so that the egg cannot meet the sperm because it's been cut, so the egg cannot meet the sperm. And it's an effective method of birth control. Okay, so now you know the structures of the female and male reproductive system, and the next lesson will be on how sperm is made and how eggs are made. And we're going to talk about hormones and feedback loops. Okay, bye.